Hey everybody, this is Cholera with Moletrap, and this is the final ace match of SKT1 versus Lecaf Oz. This is Jaedong once again, and he's going to be fighting Bisu once again, the two victors from this series, the two arguably the two best players from their respective teams. Let's not kid ourselves around. Are going to face off in a very, very epic confrontation. I was also told that this was epic, and last game was certainly innovative. I gotta give a shout out to someone called Robert Drost. If you're watching, he actually emailed me a few weeks ago talking about giving a very, very long, almost like a dissertation on the use of queens in Terran versus Zerg and how queens were going to become very useful. And he was saying how Hiva, the guy who used it against Flash, had the right idea, and I actually refuted it. And I was talking about how I don't think queens are cost effective and they waste a lot of APM, but I got owned by queens just like fantasy got owned by queens because Jaedong showed they can be used in the hands of a highly skilled Zerg, of course. I still don't think they should be used in your average game because I mean face it, in the late game you have so many things you need to control. 10 hatcheries, your defilers, your Zerglings, your lurkers, and to throw in more queens. I don't know. I mean, but Jaedong could do it, it seems, and now he's gonna be facing the formidable Bisu, and I'm so looking forward to this match on Destination.
Well, that's the thing about StarCraft at the pro level. You got to keep pushing it to new levels, and I mean, it doesn't matter if it's really hard to do. You're gonna have to do it if you're gonna push to the next level. And I wanted to say that I actually called it like a year ago. I wrote an article about the future of innovations in StarCraft gaming, and I wrote about how queens were going to be useful in Terran versus in Zerg versus Terran like a year ago. I don't know where the article went, but anyway, this is going to be a great matchup. This is not just the best player on either team. These are probably the best player of their respective races. The best Zerg in the world versus the best Protoss in the world, and
That is
possibly
right.
two of the best players in the entire world. I would say these two are definitely, at least in the top five. And so this is going to be an epic matchup either way. I mean, these guys have met in the past. They've traded games back and forth. Jaedong has won sometimes. Bisu has won sometimes. It's always been crazy. Just the sheer amount of skill being used in this game is going to be so ridiculous that I hope the Ethernet cords on the LAN that they're using right now can handle the sheer awesomeness being pumped through their veins. It looks like
Yeah.
Jaedong's going for a 9. No, not a 9 pull. Is that a 12 pull or did he put down a hatchery that I didn't see?
I think that was a 12 pull actually.
Yeah. So, and then Bisu setting up his pylon for a standard fast expand. And he looks like he's going to go for the Bisu build. And it is Bisu, so it's the Bisu build no matter what he does, punks.
That's what I
Um,
always say too. It's always Bisu's
but
build.
yeah, exactly. So Jaedong's gonna fight off that probe and try and get down a hatchery again. Is the probe gonna
Oh,
survive?
might even get it.
The drone. Let's see. Another hit.
Oh, oh, he takes
The
it down.
probe goes down.
No
Blood
mercy.
has already been spilled on the battlefields of Destination, and it is only the beginning.
And that is what Bisu hates. He hates losing his scouting. He hates losing his scouting probe. He is usually the best probe controller in the world. I'm not even kidding. Like we talk about Reaver micro, we talk about Dragoon micro, Zergling micro. He has damn good probe micro. He can keep his probes alive longer, way longer than he should be. But there, Jaedong, no mercy. Drones do outrange probes by 1 hex, I believe. And he kills it off. So not bad work there from Jaedong. I'm actually a little bit surprised that he did a 12 pool. Looks like he's actually going to double expand afterwards. Well, I mean, 12 pool doesn't really offer you that many advantages unless you're facing something like a 2-gate rush, in which case it's nice. But otherwise, the Protoss can pretty much build as if you were going for a 12 hatch. They can still get their buildings in the same order without any danger. So that's why it might not be such a great build usually. But maybe, just maybe, Jaden was trying to play it safe in case Bisu didn't fast expand and went for some kind of crazy 2-gate rush. Although I think that's fairly, I don't know, I don't think that would happen though, to be honest. Anyway, we're seeing the gas go down here for Jaedong, and we'll see if he goes for what, the kind of build Yellow or Com would go for, which is that Lurker build, the mid-game Lurker build with Spire for Scourge and Lurkers for Contain. But, we'll see what happens. He's probably going to go 3-hatch Lair, though, it seems.
There's both the coaches of the respective teams looking intently at the screen. which I think at the moment displays them. So it's always funny to see some players roll react to themselves being put on the screen. Although usually they like try not to react, they try and just freeze and like act like they don't care that they're on the screen. Um, Although sometimes they'll just, if they're like free, who's really shy, they'll hide their face. Anyway, yeah, things looking pretty standard despite the fact Jaedong went for that 12 pool. You're right. He may have been worried about proxies or anything, something like that. Want to get a little bit earlier pool just to make sure. But now he's gone and expanded twice. So going into mid game, he's still going to have plenty of economy going on. And Bisu's still trying to persist with that scouting probe, now being chased around by a Zergling. And it looks like he's actually going to send out a Zealot. Try and kill some drones before Jaedong has many lings out, or he may actually just try and force that Zealot in, force his way in to get a scout as well.
Yeah. Yeah, probably going to go force his way into a scout here. This map is actually not terrible for a Bisu build, the Bisu build. The Zerg, when they expand like this, leave themselves pretty wide open. Actually, we are seeing Hydra Den first here for Jaedong, and actually we could be seeing possibly the Bisu build in response because he's not going to have the early Scourge that the Zerg like to have nowadays when they go Spire first and then Hydra's Den. They get the Scourge out just to deal with just to deal with the Corsairs, and then they get the Lurker tech out. But it looks like we're going to see an early Lurker attack from Jaedong, and it actually might work because look at the positioning of the cannons there. They're not going to be able to protect all the buildings, and if Jaedong can take out just like if he can just get lurkers around the cannons to the right, he could do a ton of damage. So he is going to go for this 3-hatch lurker build here, and unfortunately for Bisu, he doesn't have a scout on this until he gets his Corsair in, so he doesn't know which way he has to go now, and he's going for Rubog's facility, so he's going for Corsair Reaver actually, not going to see the Bisu build, although Bisu certainly does Corsair Reaver a lot too, so it's almost like Bisu's other builds that doesn't get as much credit, but actually works very often too. But yeah, anyway.
Bisu venturing out with a few forces here. Now this could go either way. It could actually work out well for him because he could end up taking out some drones or putting pressure on Jaedong. But at the same time, if he loses that early force, that'll be kind of bad for him going into the mid game because then he'll be really stuck in his base. He won't be able to move out for a long, long time. Um, so, it could go either way. It depends on how Jaedong reacts, if he gets out a lot of lings or not. But it looks like Bisu is going to fall back. Maybe almost like a Terran pressure move, just trying to get Jaedong to build some defense or what have you. I'm not sure if that's what was going on. But yeah, Bisu is just now getting a scout in there. He's putting up some cannons in his main base because he doesn't know. I think he may just be finding out that Jaedong doesn't have Spire. So
Right.
before this point he didn't know. And yeah, there he canceled one of the cannons in his main once he saw that there was no Spire to deal with. So good move by Bisu, kind of being on the spot there and putting more cannons in the front door as well. Again, anticipating some sort of mass Hydra bust or a lurker or something like that, putting up more cannons at his front door. So very good by Bisu finding out what's going on and reacting perfectly to it. And actually, Jaedong trying to push in across this ramp here. It's a very
Wow.
narrow ramp, and that's perfect for Bisu, and he's just getting within the cannon fire as well. Jaedong was trying to go in before those cannons warped in and do some damage, but not able to accomplish that. Bisu's front door is very secure now, but we do have the speed upgrade for those overlords, so I don't know if Dark Templar are going to be able to do any good at this point. Although Bisu getting a decent number of Corsairs in the air, so
Well, I mean, yeah, there's going to be no DTs out for a very long time. I think actually the speed upgrade's a bit of
well,
a
yeah,
waste here for Jaedong because he might have anticipated early DT action. He might convert this into drop action though, so certainly not a complete waste.
yeah.
But we're going to see this Reaver Sair coming from Bisu, and Bisu is very deadly with Reaver Sair. He just didn't, pioneer it the way he pioneered the Bisu build. But he does Reaver Sam more than he does the Bisu build. Actually, since the early days, he hasn't done the Bisu build that many times because I think it's
Well,
more easy to break than Reaver Sair, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, the Bisu build has kind of been countered almost. I mean, people know how to deal with
Yeah.
it now. When he first busted it out, Savior had no idea how to cope with it at all, and that's why he got destroyed by it. But now, I mean, it's been a year. Zergs have figured out how to deal with it, and so it's almost a bad move to go the Bisu build. It's almost like something you have to pull out as a surprise, because it's so easy to just plant down a Sunken and Overlord at every base, or a Spore and a Sunken and protect
Spore.
again, or
Yeah.
go Scourges, or there's any number of ways that you can counter it now. So anyway, he does have something in that shuttle, probably a couple Zealots and maybe his first Reaver. He's got some Corsairs out as well, so... whoa, there's a lot of Scourges in the air, though. He's gonna have to fall back to his main base.
Wow.
He's probably gonna lose one Corsair. No, he turns around to fight the Scourge! Oh, the Scourge going after
Oh!
the shuttle! The shuttle goes down!
Oh,
The Reaver
nice.
gets out, though! Oh, man, that was crazy. He's... Now, Jaedong's gonna try and pick off that Reaver before it gets back to base.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bisu has another shuttle to pick it up with.
Crawl. No, he doesn't. It's going to crawl away, but not going to get far enough. There he goes. And that shows how bad
Wow.
Reavers are against when they aren't supported with shuttles. Looks like actually Bisu going to try to kill off a lot of Overlords. He gets a lot of Overlords actually because just not enough Hydras to shoot down the Corsairs in time. And he's going to kill off a lot of Psy here. Spawn more Overlords is going through Jaedong's headphones right now as we speak. Spawn more Overlords, and he's getting annoyed by it. But and we're actually not seeing lurkers at all this game so far. So I guess it makes sense because he changed his mind the moment he saw Reavers. That's actually, just shows how the programs adapt because lurkers are not good against Corsair Reaver because they're just not mobile enough to deal with anything. And of course the Protoss player will get observers pretty soon if they have a robotics facility. So he's switched it to just pretty much mass Hydras and mass expansions, which is sort of the correct answer. Plus Scourge, of course, the correct answer to Corsair Reaver. And looks like a drone with his mouth open there, gaping in astonishment. And oh, there's a couple drones down. And this grand tour here could result in a lot of casualties for Jaedong.
Wow, yeah, what's up with that drone? It is gaping with his mouth open. That's kind of weird. But that was nice by Bisu dropping off those Zealots to deal with that hatchery and then moving around with that Reaver, drawing the forces around. So they may even take that. Well, I don't think he's going to take down the hatchery, but yeah, Bisu going with very mobile build here. And you're right, Jaedong is kind of doing what he needs to do, but I don't know if he quite has. Bisu is only at 2 bases, though. Excuse me, so if he can pick up another base, which he may try and do before too long, he'll be in good shape. But well, this is turning out there's the extra expansion, just as I was thinking about it. So Bisu looks to be in pretty good shape though, but I think it's either player's game at this point. There is a few lurkers out now just to deal with the mass zealots that are going to be on the ground. It's weird. Bisu, he's kind of going. Oh, 4 Dark Templars sneaking in there, but there's Overlords in the area. Here come the Corsairs, though. Corsairs are going to quickly take out those Overlords, and the DTs are going to come in and absolutely slaughter the Hydralisk now. 3 DTs survive. Oh, man, this is crazy.
Modified Bisu build here. Late game, mid-game Bisu switch, and it's actually working out pretty well. I don't think Jaedong saw this one coming, and he's lost a lot of drones because of that. I think it was definitely worth it to drop the DTs there, killing off a lot of Hydras and a lot of drones importantly. So, oh man, Jaedong knows it. Bisu pulling off, well, the Bisu build, I guess, except it wasn't the Bisu build, it was just a late version. But look at this. Oh man, Bisu might lose that expansion now at the left side if he gets target fired. Will he get target fired? The Nexus goes down, so it was canceled or it went down, so it's going to slow him down a little bit. Meanwhile, it looks like Jaedong's not going to care about these Hydras. He's going to try to kill the cannons, slow down Bisu even more here, and now they're going to go in the corner and die. But, nice work there. Oh, man, he's persisting, building some lurkers there, in fact, and, I guess he might actually have some lurkers there because it looks like Bisu won't finish him off. Bisu, did a good amount of damage there, but that's not game-ending, certainly. Jaedong's going to be fine on 4 bases. Okay, another big attack in the middle. Oh, Bisu going to fly over a number of Hydralisks there. He needs to keep the Corsairs alive. And I don't know where that shuttle went. I think it might be with the Reaver right now. And wow, look at this. No support units for Bisu, so he has to cross this bridge with just speedlots, and they're taking tons of hits there. Although the speedlots, I think, they won't break through, in fact. No Reaver or High Templar there. So that was a nicely done defense there by Jaedong.
Yeah, the Reaver was a little bit too far back to engage in that. Wow.
The lurkers are up.
The lurkers are up now. Bisu let him go. And that's kind of interesting. So the lurkers are going to be able to do some damage, but yeah, Bisu has plenty of observers around now. He's going to be able to take care of lurkers without too much problem. This is really crazy. I was going to say earlier, Bisu going for kind of Ser Reaver DT Goons speed lot. A little bit of everything except no Templar for some reason. I'm surprised at the lack of Templar, High Templar that is. But going for a little bit of everything else, and Jaedong at the same time having to go for a lot of everything else as well, getting Hydralisks and Lurkers and some Scourge around as well. So both players just kind of using everything in their arsenal. And here at Bisu, he's going to try and sneak something else in. Is it more Dark Templar? It is just
Or
some Zealots
Zealots.
just to go in and do some harassment here. And that's the kind of thing that can really win the game in a
Oh, they
long-term
could pick
sense,
off the
though.
hatchery.
Oh, they're going for the bottom corner,
Yeah, he could
unexpected
pick off the hatchery
location.
at the lower left. Yeah.
Wow. Running through Jaedong's entire base to get to there. One zealot gets glitched out, but I think they are going to take that hatchery down before they can get taken out.
Nice work. I mean, this is kind of surgical precision that Bisu is great with. He loves Zealot drops. He's the only Protoss player I've seen do Zealot drops against Zerg. And that is a very, very significant hit on Jaedong's economy. Jaedong just, wow, he's got +2 attack upgrade for range, interesting enough. So he's definitely thinking about a long mid game here with the Lurkers. Not thinking about going to Hive anytime soon, I think. He's going to have to really pull it off, though, with Lurker Hydra here. And a lot of High Templar now coming up. And this is going to be really painful for Jaedong, I think. He doesn't have any Carapace upgrade. Oh, no, no, never mind. He got +1 just now. So +1, +2 versus plain old +2 for the Protoss. I'd say Jaedong's actually ahead right now in upgrades. And those Hydras are massed up, and they could be very powerful. But the Storms are the great equalizer here. And Jaedong is going to be facing a lot of trouble if he tries to fight with those Hydras against an army with Storm.
Yeah, the Storm, the great equalizer, is just so powerful against Zerg. And Bisu is really good at Storms too, so I mean he's obviously going to be able to employ it. And Bisu has a really just beautiful mix of army now, just a ton of goons and zealots and High Templar. It's really going to be able to handle almost anything that Jaedong can throw at him. But the multitude of what Jaedong can throw at him is usually the question there. As far as you can hold off the first wave, but can you? Oh no! Bisu going in for some kind of a drop. The shuttle goes down to some Hydras. I wonder what was in that shuttle. Hopefully for Bisu, nothing too expensive here. But man, this game is turning crazy, and remember, this is the last game, so whoever wins this game is going to take the set for their team. So both players have got to be putting everything they have into this game. They both really want to win this game right now.
Yeah, we're seeing speed reavers here. I mean, sorry, speed shuttles here, not speed reavers, from Bisu. So he's very committed to drops. Meanwhile, it looks like Jaedong's going to set up a drop of his own. Could be a Doom drop, in fact. And shuttle being shown here, Mutalisks out of nowhere, and some Storm. All right. So Mutalisk probably for sniping off the High Templar. Oh, beautiful snipes.
Storm
Oh my
going
God,
over everything.
gigantic storms all over the Hydralisk.
Oh.
Half the Hydras go down, but there's more Hydralisks,
There's
and
too
all the
many
High Templar
Hydralisks.
have gone down. And the Mutalisks are perfect. They're killing off the Reavers now after killing all the High Templar down. And it looks like the Reavers,
no.
the Reavers are all going to go down. Bisu in huge trouble here. Absolutely amazing attack here from Jaedong with the super
my
upgraded
God.
Hydralisks. Oh, losing a lot there, but I think that was Bisu's entire army, and the left side might be very vulnerable, although it has a lot of cannons left. It's going to be a race. What can Jaedong do right now while Bisu doesn't have an army? He needs to do some damage, of course, because otherwise Bisu will recover pretty quickly.
Yeah, if Bisu's got too many cannons on his front door, but if Jaedong were to attack the expansions, which he's doing right now, he's going to take out this brand new
this is what he needs
expansion
to
on the
do.
right. If Jaedong attacks the expansion on the left as well, I think that will be curtains for Bisu.
That's
Bisu
a lot of
trying
cannons,
not to let himself get contained, trying to move out here. Those Templar don't have very many storms in them, though. Bisu's going to have to fall back into his base. He's not even going to be able to get all of his army across that bridge into a cohesive unit to attack with. And Jaedong has just taken a huge amount of map control. This is
Right.
not looking good for Bisu at all.
No, it turned out from, a draw to a definite advantage for Jaedong on 4 bases, and he's stuck to the lair build. This is definitely interesting. It's not what we see a lot of times from Zerg v Protoss, as we see mostly upgrades to melee and carapace, and then a rush to ultralisks and cracklings. But this time, we're going to see a mid-game here. Okay, we're now seeing the hive, but it's a very late hive in the 20th minute of the game. But, that's okay, because he's had so much success with these upgraded hydras. It's been absolutely ridiculous. And now a lurker in the back there. It might get in, I don't know if it's in position to do some damage on the probes. It could. And Storm not doing much there for Bisu actually, and he has to defend this back area too after mining it out. And looks like he's gonna. Oh, good Storm there, but good dodge from Jaedong. This little battle at the back is very important. And looks like the thing is what Jaedong's doing is he forcing these High Templar to use up their Storm and on these Hydralisks, and it looks like he's just targeting fire these High Templar. If Bisu doesn't have High Templar, he's gonna be really weak against this mass Hydra army.
Yeah, Jaedong is just going sheer mass units right now. And really, I think he can afford to. He's got 4 bases. It looks like he's getting a 5th. And that's why I was thinking if Bisu lost his 3rd base, he'd be in deep trouble. But the critical thing is, he's mining out his main and his natural right now. In a minute
Right.
or two, Bisu is going to be down to just the left-hand base. And that is not going to be enough to keep up with the massive economy that Jaedong has going for him right now. He's managed to get together a little bit of an army. It looks like he's going to try and hold the top right base, or maybe the mid right. And that's exactly what he needs to do to get back in this game. But Jaedong, in the meantime, setting up some lurkers and hydras to contain him, does not want to give him that gas base
Wow.
on the right. Wow.
Yeah,
And
wow. I
Bisu's
gotta say,
distance
Jaedong.
mining now.
Oh man, Bisu in huge trouble. I mean, this is a perfect game from Jaedong. Bisu's thrown everything, including the kitchen sink, at him, and Jaedong has not lost the game. I mean, he has stayed focused, and oh man, but he's getting melted by the storms here. So Bisu's gonna break through. I don't know if that was a little bit of a bad defense there, or a bad attempt to defend that area because that is very vulnerable. Okay, Defiler's Bound coming out now, so this is gonna be really bad for Bisu, of course. Bisu needs to get more gas for those High Templar and those Archons. And wow, distance mining, you're right. Bisu in big trouble at this point. Distance mining from the back. I think he would be better off putting a Nexus there though, rather than distance mining. But he just needs every mineral he can get pretty much at this point to build units and try to break out. Looks like Jaedong's continuing to hold this area here. Here comes Bisu with a breakout attempt. Storms, oh man, covering all the lurkers. So this is the late game army that Bisu needs. Crackling's moving up to try to take out some Dragoons, but looks like they're not going to have any success. Archons, oh, looks like one Reaver does go down, but Bisu, I think, will have enough Dragoons left to break the Lurker contain. However, he's going to be facing most likely Mass Crackling with possibly some Dark Swarm mixed in, coming up really soon. +1 attack and +2 Carapace, +1 melee attack and +2 Carapace for Jaedong. And, certainly he's doing fine in the upgrades department. And, wow, this is just going to be, a massive battle here in the middle pretty soon.
Man, Bisu has managed to break out, actually. I
Yeah.
didn't actually expect him to get out of that, but he just kept persisting, kept laying down storms and scarabs and everything, and managed to break out there. And now, actually, Bisu going on the counterattack. If he can, in turn, get an expansion up and take out one of Jaedong's, he'll be in good shape. Storm's going off a lot of the Hydras. Hydras dodging pretty well, though. A little bit spread out, but he's doing a really good job with the Dragoons and the Reavers and everything behind. Doing a decent job of holding us off, but Jaedong may just have... Look at the
So many
orange coming in on the
Hydralisks.
map. Just too
Oh my
many
god.
Hydralisks. Reinforcements coming in from
What?
everywhere. The Reavers go down. Everything goes
Oh
down.
my
The shuttle
god.
goes down. Bisu's new army is
Bisu
fired. Bisu
GG's.
GG's. Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Bisu
Wow.
GG's. Incredible.
The
Jaedong
Legend
pulls
Killer
it
has
off.
taken down another legend in the ace match of an absolutely epic series. Wow.
Yeah, I gotta say, this series lived up to its hype. I mean, Bisu played his heart out. I cannot fault Bisu's play in this game. Really, nothing he could have done. I mean, he got good Reaver. He had a good, great Corsair control. Killed a lot of Overlords. Used his Reavers pretty well. Killed, sniped a couple of hatcheries. Oh, Jaedong with the little #1 there. Even got a decent DT drop off, but just Jaedong, the monster, comes up with a very interesting mid-game build. And Zergs often aren't really lauded for their kind of builds, but this definitely was a very different kind of mid-game build that Jaedong pulled off against a Protoss. And it should be noted that usually we don't see this fast +2 attack range for the Protoss player, for the Zerg player, but here we're seeing a very, very interesting build from Jaedong, and it turned out to work very well against what Bisu had to offer.
Yeah, that was crazy. So, Lecaf is going to secure their very high-ranking position in the Pro League. SKT1, it's stuff like this. It keeps them down in the lower spots, barely clinging on to any possibility of getting into the playoffs here. So Very, very interesting game. That was pretty crazy. And like you said, yeah, you gotta hand it to Bisu. Um, he played his heart out, and
Oh,
so many
Boxer!
Protoss.
Boxer! I spy Boxer!
Oh no! Boxer in the SKT
Boxer!
uniform.
Boxer
Nice.
the Santa Claus! Oh my god, they get him for the end. By the way, for those of you who don't know yet, Boxer is back on SKT1 for good, and he is out of the Air Force, of course. And he will be signing up in January, which I don't know what that means. It means he might play his first game in February. We'll have to see.
Interesting. So maybe he's not officially on the roster yet, but he's just hanging out or something. But wow, that was pretty crazy. I guess SKT1 they're gonna have to go back to flying their Gundams and delivering presents around the world because Lecaf has proven to be the better StarCraft team this time.
Yeah, this was played 2 days before Christmas, of course. Merry Christmas, Jaedong, basically. Jaedong pulling two spectacular games in games 4 and 5. Really, noteworthy games. And, pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say.